Okay, let's go ahead and jump into chapter 2, exercise 8. And what we're asked for here is to print out whether a number is odd or even. This is an interesting exercise because if you're looking at this for the first time, the modulus operator can be a little bit tricky. So I wanted to spend really just 60 seconds giving an overview of what the modulus operator is. So what is the modulus operator? Effectively, what it is that if we think in terms of numbers and integers, if we think in terms of division, so let's say I have 7 divided by 3. So if we think of it as a decimal value, this comes out to something like 2.333, right? But a computer either works in integers or it works in floating point values. And there's an instance where we actually need to work in terms of integers. So 7 is an integer and 3 is an integer. So if we do 7 divided by 3, if we don't consider all the parts, well, this just gets rounded to 2. Now, if you wanted to know what is the remainder of that division, so then that is where the modulus operation comes in. It really tells you what is the remainder part. So if you go back to your 4th grade math, you probably remember saying 7 divided by 3. Well, that is just 2 remainder 1. So what the modulus operation does, it pulls out the 1. And that's the answer that it gives you. So if we did another example, let's say we had 11 divided by 4. So that would be 3 remainder 3. And the modulus operation pulls out the 3. So what is odd or even? Well, that just means that if you are dividing by 2, you can have 2 remainders. What are they? You can have remainder 0, and that means that it is even, or you can have remainder 1, and that means that it's odd. So this is really all the math you need for this. And to be honest with you, for most of the computer science you're going to do for the rest of your career, this is essentially sufficient. You don't really need more than 4th grade math to be able to do good computer science, maybe 5th or 6th grade math. So if you feel like, hey, I'm not really mathy, I'm not really into doing that, and I heard that computer science needs a lot of math, the truth is it's not really accurate. The reality is that we can actually do quite well without very much math, and this is really the extent of what you need to know. So let's go ahead and actually do the implementation for this. So here's our main method, and we'll have our int value that we're going to enter, and then what we're going to do is we're going to say standard cout, please enter a number, and we'll do standard cin, we'll read the value in, and then we can do a very basic if statement. If value modulus 2 is equal to 0, well, now we know that it is even. So we can do the following: standard cout, and we'll do exactly as the text says. The value is an even number. Otherwise, well, since we haven't introduced the else statement, we have to rely on the other option, which is if value modulus 2 is equal to 1. Well, we know that this is the odd number, so we could do standard cout the value is an odd number. Now, what I actually want to call your attention to something here is that there's a little bit of a repetition going on here. We're actually repeating this part here of standard value multiple times. So let's go ahead and actually pull this out, because we know we're going to always print it out. And we'll just focus on the part that we need to do here. And then we can get rid of this part here as well. And that way we are not repeating ourselves. To be honest with you, we can actually even do it even further. We can say is n, and then we can just leave this part here. Let's get rid of this space here, so we know that, like this, odd. And since we know that we have the number here as the conclusion, we just wanted to focus on that part. So we can say number, let's put the space here, number, and that's really it. And let's clean this up here. Let's clean this up here, and we don't need this new line here, there, and like this. And now we have all of the logic refactored. We're just focusing just on the part that's unique to each code path. Let's go ahead and run it. Let's enter a number. Let's try 4. And it says the value 4 is an even number. Let's try one more time. Let's do a negative number. Let's see what happens if we say negative 11. And it says that it is an that's fun. The value is in something number. Probably should say it says the value is an odd number or an even number, but it obviously skipped one of those two paths. Interesting. Okay, let's take over here. Let's see if we do 11 is an odd number. So something doesn't quite work with odd numbers, but that's an interesting problem to figure out what's going on. But otherwise, this is obviously working correctly. Okay, good. Let's ship it. Looks good. We can always figure out what's going on with negative modulus later on.